February 16th, 2021, meeting of the Board of Public Works at 6 p.m. It is now exactly 6 p.m. Here's our agenda items. Number one, approval of open meeting minutes 2/1/21 and 1/11/21 executive session. Number two is the drain layers license renewals for 2021. Item three, contract 2017-22 amendment for engineering services for Damien's Point Dam spillway repair. Four, road acceptance policy. We have a discussion, the update of snow and ice budget enterprise funds employee data sheets. Reimbursement of funds for DPW moved to 965 Plain Street. Number three would be special town meeting articles, and four is the IT position. It won't happen. And the six is superintendent's report. Next meeting is March 8th, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Tom, will you poll the board?
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Cusick,
Aye.
Mr. Carrier. Aye. Mr. Shaughnessy.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, I've read the minutes. Has anybody got any questions? I got to look at these again. Hold on. I thought I had a question on something. Let me see. No, I think these are, this is the January 11th, 2021, the executive session. And I'm okay with this. Do I have a second on the January 11th?
I had no questions. I'm fine with it.
Bobby, how are you doing?
No questions.
Okay, make a motion that we accept the minutes of January 11th, 2021 as written.
Second.
Tom, will you poll the board?
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Cusick,
Aye.
Mr. Carrier. Aye. Mr. Shaughnessy. Mr. Shaughnessy. I think you just said aye. Okay, unanimous.
Okay. Where are we here for
Feb. 1.
February 1, right? I'm looking at February 1, 2021. We had these special town meeting warrants, engineering reimbursement. That's tonight. Okay. Ocean Bluff. Yeah, I was fine. I did read these and print them. So you all right with these, Dave? Or you want to make any discussion?
Oh, I'm fine with it. Thank you.
Mr. Shaughnessy, how you doing with February 1, 2021? Oh, okay. We can barely hear you. Maybe it's my computer. Did you hear
it? Same in. Very, very faint, Bob.
To the phone.
There it is. Okay, a little better there.
It's getting better, yeah. I think he said he's all right with them, so we can just.
Okay. He's good with it. Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Cusick,
Aye.
Mr. Carrier. Aye. Mr. Shaughnessy.
Aye.
Thank you, Bob. We can hear you good. Okay, that's it on the minutes as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, here we are. We got the drain layers license renewals for 2021. I did read all of them. I didn't print them all, but all I did is print the names of the individuals that have been submitted for approval. So Dave, you want to take it, or I can read them if you want, be a genie. I have them in front of me. It's from Jay.
Your pleasure, John.
I'm sorry.
If you'd like.
No, I'll read them quick. We've received 2021 drain layers license renewal applications from the contractors listed below submitted for our approval. Robert Biagini, Biagini Inc., James Rourke, Alltown Inc., Kevin Powell, Powell Construction Company, Robert Clancy, Clancy Construction Company Inc., Dan A. Tibbet, Weed and Feed Inc., Michael McDougall, McDougall Brothers Enterprise, Antonio Larrera Brothers Inc. The last one is Leo Costello Jr., Costello Contracting. I did read the individual reports from the Jay Parker, and everybody seemed fine with this. So I'll go to discussions. Dave, you have discussion.
I have one minor correction. I believe that it's Antonio Ayara. It's capital I, Araya, rather than Laria.
Oh, I apologize.
Capital I, not a capital L, John.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that, Mr. Ayara. It's a good Irish name.
I think there's only one, these are all renewals. So these are all people that have been satisfactory before. So I should need no reason not to renew.
How about you, Bobby?
I'm okay with all of them.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the contractors listed as in the submittal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 contractors. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those, will you poll it, Tom, please?
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Cusick,
Aye.
Mr. Carrier. Aye. Mr. Shaughnessy,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you, Tom. The next item is the contract 2017-22 amendment for engineering services for Damien's Point Dam spillway repair. I believe that would be Rod.
Yes. So at this point, the project has been designed and permitting is complete, and we are in the process of ordering the prefabricated sluiceway that will be retrofitted into the existing concrete structure. The one thing, when we awarded the contract initially, I did not include construction services because at that time we didn't know where we were going to get the money to construct. We're using Chapter 90 to construct. So at this time, I wanted to ask the board for authorization for construction service budget of $12,200 for technical support and as-built drawings, whatnot, on an as-needed basis. We are heavily involved. Our staff's heavily involved with the review of the documents. But we also have GZA involved as well. I'm asking for authorization of Amendment 2 to include this $12,200 budget.
Very good, Rod. I see it's from funding you mentioned from Chapter 90.
Correct.
I'm okay with this, and any discussion to Dave?
No, I'm all set.
Bobby, how about yourself?
Rod, does Mass Highway approve the funding component?
We have submitted it, and it's for approval at this point for both this construction services and the construction itself.
Okay, if they approve it,
It's in the
I don't have a
works.
problem with it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
All right, thanks, Bob. Dave, you want to read the motion? I have it in front of me if you don't, but go right
I'd be
ahead.
glad to read it, John.
Thank you.
Motion is to authorize amendment number 2 to contract 2017-22 engineering services, Damon Point Road Dam Spillway with GZA Geo Environmental Incorporated to include Task 7 construction support services in the amount of $12,200, and the chairman or designee is authorized to sign the change order when the documents are prepared.
Set, you asked for a second. Do you want discussion on this?
We need a second for discussion.
I know that. I asked for a second. I'll second that.
Say, I read it, you second.
Okay,
You read it a second ago. A little levity, huh? Are we up on the screen? Can you see us all here?
oh, sure.
Yes, sir.
We're like in the movies, like you ought to have popcorn there. Tommy, popcorn machine.
That's next.
Okay, I am satisfied with the explanations provided by Rod Procaccino, so I do have no further discussion.
Bobby, you have any discussion
No
on this?
discussion. I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. Tom, will you poll the board?
Yep, motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Cusick,
Aye.
Mr. Carrier,
Aye.
Mr. Shaughnessy,
Aye.
unanimous.
And Dave, you'll sign that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Where are we here?
Road acceptance.
We're going, the road acceptance policy, that was rather lengthy. I didn't print it. I tried to read a lot of it, but I guess that would be you, Tom. But I have a question before you even start. Is that's something that the staff will take care of? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, because it was,
We currently had a policy in place with a matrix that showed what steps to follow. When we submitted this year's request for road acceptances, Bob Galvin had an issue with some of the language that was in our existing policy, which was limited. So what he did was he's used a template from surrounding communities to develop this roadway acceptance policy and procedures. We've had an opportunity to review it. We reached out to Mass DOT, our state aide, Sean Sullivan, and asked him if there was any issues with Mass DOT. And we didn't, he said he wasn't aware of any issues. He hadn't heard of anything from other communities that have adopted this policy. So as far as he was concerned, it seemed to be a good policy.
okay, all right. I'm with you on that. I did read a lot of it, yeah. So do we have,
It does go into a little more depth than what we've done in the past, requiring certain applications and sign-offs. So at least everyone will be on the same page going forward, and it protects us from any liability. So I think it's a good policy.
okay, is this something that we discussed, I believe, last meeting on a couple of roads, more than a couple we were gonna accept?
Yes, this has to do with that. And the board, where we didn't meet last Monday night, the Board of Selectmen and Planning both took this up at their meetings and approved.
Oh, that's good. Okay,
So we're following suit.
yes,
I do have one comment, if I might.
yeah, go right ahead.
That comment is, I'd like to ask Tom to make sure we reach out again to Attorney Galvin, just to make sure that he has consulted with the Department of Transportation's legal team as well. To be sure that there isn't something in here, because we've always in the past taken ownership and possession. And some of these are easements and licenses, which actually, from a liability standpoint, probably offer more protection. My only concern would be an interpretation that might impact receiving the Chapter 90 funds. Since this policy has existed elsewhere, it probably has been okayed, but I would like a definitive answer that it has been.
Bobby, you have any comments? Thank you, Dave.
Are we going to vote on this policy? I have just information that we're going to look at it and vote on it next policy, because we only got 6 days ago.
It would be our vote, I believe, Bob, because it actually specifically stipulates the Board of Selectmen, Board of Public Works, and Planning Board of the Town of Marshfield set forward the following procedures. And therefore, we are a party to these procedures, and I believe a vote would be in order.
Yeah, but the thing is, my point is that we just got this 6 days ago. You know, we're just looking at it for the first time. Can we put it off until the next meeting to actually vote on it and give us a chance to look at it? You have a question for legal counsel. You know, I just don't want to be jump right into it. I don't have really a problem with the concept of it. I do would like to have a chance to fully understand it.
I guess, let me ask this question to Tom, and that would be,
Yeah.
should we?
What do you think,
vote
Tom?
a conditional vote based on, response from town council?
Right, I mean, we could vote conditionally on it, or if you need another till the next meeting. We really don't need this in place until town meeting, correct?
Right, we'll follow the procedure. We'll follow the procedure as if it was in play. And,
All right.
Okay.
and then you can.
Oh, go ahead, Rod. I'm sorry I interrupt you.
Also,
You want to take a consensus vote that, we're okay with this?
Yeah, I would make one more comment, if I might, Mr. Chairman, and that is that I did raise the same concerns with the Board of Selectmen on their Zoom meeting when they did approve this. And, the statement was basically they were sure the town council was okay with everything and it was fine. While I take that on face value, I'm a trust but verify type.
So you want to take, Bobby will take your recommendation and have a consensus vote that we support it and we'll vote on it March 8th. Well, that will allow
That
you
will
to.
satisfy me.
Go right ahead.
I said, that will satisfy me. Give us an opportunity to take a look at it, get some questions answered, and then we'll vote on the next meeting.
Okay. Tom, do you need a consensus vote or you just want to hold it till March 8th?
We can hold it till the 8th.
All right. Well, we're going to put this off for a vote of the board for the road acceptance policy till our next meeting of March 8th, 2021. Okay, we're up into discussion. The update, snow and ice budget, enterprise funds, employee data. I think that was Mayan. I did get the information in the data sheet, which I appreciate. And I'll hold on and go ahead, Danielle. I'll recognize you.
1 second. I'm sorry. I was trying to
No.
jump in quick. My video went. Just one quick question. I know you're going to vote. You put the vote off till March 8th at your next meeting. If you guys vote for it and you're in support of the new policy, will this delay? Because we're from the Horseshoe Farm Development, so 3 of our road or our 3 roads are in the group of roads you're proposing at town meeting. Would this delay any of that going forward at town meeting?
I don't think so one bit, but Tom, you could answer that?
No, it won't delay it at all. All it does is it gives us a policy a new policy that protects us. And we're going to still go forward with the roads that we're going to accept. And this new policy will have no effect or have no impact in delaying this. So this is just housekeeping to have a new policy in place going forward.
Okay, great. And so I know you mentioned 1 point certified letters will be going out to the abutters about the public hearings, and they're still in the beginning of March, you think they'll get letters?
Right,
or?
we're going to try to do all the public hearings. We'll do it for each road, or we'll do it for your 3 roads at one meeting.
Okay.
That will be a separate meeting. Then we'll do separate meetings. We'll try to cluster the roads together that are within the neighborhoods, but there'll be separate meetings that will send out registered letters to all the abutters in those neighborhoods.
Okay, and that's probably what you think in early March sometime?
Yeah, we have to have it done prior to the 15th of March, I think,
Okay.
before the book goes to print.
Okay, all right. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay, Danielle. Tom, on those meetings, are they public or are they going to be at the conference room or?
There'll be public hearings. There'll be public hearings. We will do them on a Zoom. We'll operate from the conference room And we'll send out the agenda and the number and the Zoom information to all of the abutters.
Also, it'll be on the website.
And it will be on the website.
Oh, okay, so should we post those for a Board of Public Works meeting also, so that if I want to attend on a Zoom and Dave or Bob wants to attend, we're not violating anything? Or will that screw it up? Or
No, I think,
Public hearings before a board meeting.
Yeah.
We have
right.
done them when Dave, I think we moved.
Yeah.
from town.
Yeah, we can do that, John.
so we would give Anne Marie enough time to get it to Nerese?
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna schedule these meetings all in advance.
Okay, that's what I meant, yeah.
Right, and what we'll do is when we schedule, what we're gonna try to do is to do them like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right, if we can cluster the roads together from the neighborhoods, we're gonna do that. If we have to go to the following week for a fourth public hearing, we'll do that.
Okay,
But what we'll do is, we'll put the letters together, we'll mail all the letters out at the same time. And we'll work with each different neighborhood.
Okay.
And then we'll post it as a DPW meeting so that all three commissioners could attend.
And I would comment, John,
Go ahead.
public hearings are just that, public hearings. We are all members of the public. And as long as we are sticking to the hearings agenda, we are not in violation of the open meeting law in any way, shape, or form. That goes back to an opinion I got long ago from Marzelli, circa 2009 timeframe, if I remember rightly.
yeah, as long as we're not gonna vote on it.
No, the road hearing is for the public input, not for us.
Okay, all right, so we don't have to post it with Anne Marie? I'm just
I'll
trying to
double
get-
check with council.
All right, so I don't want to get,
Yep, that's right.
because she has to post that at the Wednesday before,
Okay.
and time frame can be a problem. Okay, let's move on to, no, we were still on the update, snow and budget there, the snow and budget there. So what I would like to see also, and I want to thank the staff for providing that data, is to also add in the benefits. It's around 32%, 35% on top of the monies that were used for the snow and ice plowing by our enterprise fund employees. Mainly because we are charging the indirects for their pensions and the health care. So without putting that in, we're kind of getting screwed. So was that something the deputy superintendent would take care of? He's hiding behind the corner there. I can see him. There you are.
Have that added into the spreadsheet.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Superintendent. Okay. Let's move on. Anybody have, Bob, you have any questions, snow and ice? Dave, I'm sorry, I didn't ask for questions.
I do not.
The question I have on the snow and ice, is this a direct reimbursement to the enterprise funds?
It's an offset.
I'd like to see it that way.
It's an offset.
Yeah, Bob, it's gonna be an offset.
It's gonna be an offset, okay, fine.
Yeah, but hold on now. We got to make sure that the downtown people, either it's going to be an offset or a direct reimbursement. We got to notify them, because all of a sudden they'll say, we didn't know anything about this. So you've got to make it clear that it's either an offset or a direct reimbursement, and see what their reaction is. So who wants to handle that? The deputy superintendent?
I'll send them an
Deputy
email
super-
tomorrow, let them know we're gonna set it as an offset, or if they would prefer, we could take it out of snow and ice.
So you'll send a copy to the board members and also their reply?
I will send an email to them and I will CC all the board members and the superintendent.
All right, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
I just
Anybody else?
want to comment on the snow and ice, John.
Yep.
Just let you know that as of today, we've spent $408,000 on snow and ice. And that I forwarded a letter to town administrator and the advisory board asking to deficit spend an additional 200,000.
Sounds good. Yeah, you're gonna need it. There's a storm coming up here for Thursday through Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Dave, you okay?
Yes, I am.
Robert, Bobby, you all right?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
okay.
Okay, all right, we'll move on here. Okay, the reimbursement funds for the DPW move, as long as we're keeping track of that. We do have a cost of that prior data sheet was 17,000. And there are some costs that we got to keep track of. And the monies that are left over from this move and the reconstruction and the infrastructure and the new heating systems and things like that. If we keep track of this and have the monies there at the end of this reconstruction and move, then we can put it in for reimbursement. Discussion on that?
Nope, I'm fine with that idea.
Bobby, you all right with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so we'll just move on. Thank you very much. Special town meeting articles. So that would be Tom. Anything new?
We've got a number of articles on the special. One is the annual audit, General Bylaw 15, that was submitted at the request of the board. The second is enterprise account retained earnings supplement. This article is being submitted in an effort to identify the retained earnings that are to be used during fiscal year 2021 to offset expenses for each of the 3 enterprise accounts.
Is Tom, that's those old articles that they took out that we showed the retained earnings used to reimburse the funds for the expenses.
Correct.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something that they should have in there. We should have 3 separate articles.
So John, this is for this current fiscal year. So in case there's an overspending, this money's there set aside in case there is an overage. There's also in the annual town meeting for FY22, as part of the omnibus budget, that information for the offsets is going to be included in that as well. And then it's going to reference the spreadsheets at the back of the warrant book.
Okay, I understand all that. All right, I'm okay with that. Dave, you all right?
I'm fine with it.
How about you, Bobby, okay?
I'm okay.
Okay, let's move on.
The next one is the solid waste disposal supplemental funding. And this is the current 2021 solid waste curbside collection and disposal and transportation expense line budgets are estimated during the budget creation process based on the waste disposal contract in place at the time. After the 2021 budget was authorized, the waste contract was extended for an additional 2 years through the amendment process. As expected, the cost of waste collection and disposal increased substantially due to the market-driven increases in disposal and recycling. The negotiations of the contract resulted in increased collection, disposal, and recycling costs and now requires authorization of additional funding. Initial supplemental fund of $700,000 for additional solid waste curbside collection, $300,000 in disposal and transportation of $400,000 was approved at the October 19, 2020 special town meeting. However, the disposal and transportation costs continue to increase due to a continued significant higher volume due to the COVID and people being home during this period has increased the amount of trash being disposed of. So that's the reason for the 700,000 increase.
Is that the recycling or is that the recycling or is that the solid waste? You know, is that the?
It's
What's the
transportation and disposal.
Mainly because of the recycling.
Right.
Yeah, we got to do something about that recycling. Most of it's not recyclable anymore anyhow. The only thing worthwhile, I
Costs us
think,
now more to get rid of the recycling than it does the regular trash.
you're in the background there, buddy. There you are.
Same. I'm just saying it costs us more now to get rid of recycling than it does regular trash.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah, somewhere along the line, something has to be done with the state because most of that stuff is burnt. The only thing good is this cardboard.
Question on Dan's statement.
What?
I have a question on Dan's statement.
Go right ahead, Bob. Go right ahead.
I have a question for clarity's sake, what do you mean that the recycling costs more than the trash?
It now costs Republic, it costs them more to get rid of recycled material than it does to get rid of the regular trash. So,
On a per ton basis.
yep, China no longer accepts recyclables from the United States. So that market was lost. So now Republic has to go out and find other ways of getting rid of all our recycling. And
They burn
the
it.
tonnage cost increased to be more than regular waste.
So for the listening public, what is the cost per ton for trash versus what is the cost per ton for recycling?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Well-
I could go find that out for you.
I think that'd be a good item to provide for the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big difference. I do, it was like, I don't know, 85 for the regular trash and 130 a ton for the recyclable. Recyclable, they burn it. They don't have any place to put it.
The only items, if I might, Mr. Chairman, that are recyclable that actually have cash value tend to be the light glass, the clear plastic materials, paper and cardboard that are clean and in good shape, and the scrap metal, which we normally handle differently, except for the aluminum cans and that sort of thing. The heavy glass, which is your wine and liquor bottles, basically, that actually has a negative value. There is some recyclable value to it, but it is not, basically it costs more to process it than it does to basically take it and recycle it. And this is an item that, if you'll recall, we actually as a group, as a board, sent a letter to our state legislative members, senator and representative, requesting that they proceed in the legislature to put deposits down on the heavy glass. It'll work just like it did for the beer and soda cans and bottles. You don't see those around, and you don't see them in the recycle bins because somebody comes around and collects them for the deposits.
Yep, so true. We never did get an answer. Now I recall. Thanks for reminding us of that, Dave.
Yeah, we did get an answer. The answer was that they would give it the due consideration in the legislature. Our problem is that the wine and liquor industry has a much higher lobby value than we do.
Makes sense. Don't drink unless you're alone or with somebody.
Okay. The other thing I would point out for the public's, Republic was our low bid, and they were our low bid by $650,000 when we cut this contract. And that included all of the aspects that they were lower than the other competitors that were bidding against them.
I remember that. All right.
The
Bobby,
last article is the easements at Rockwood Road. We put this in as a placeholder. And we need to meet with town council and BRT Corp, finalize everything.
What? Who's got a dog? I like dogs. It's okay. He's putting his 2 cents in. All right. So we missed the IT position here, Tommy.
Yeah, that's the next on the agenda. I just wanted to let you know that.
Where'd those other things come from under the agenda? That's under your superintendent's report. I didn't see it under discussion.
It's the last item.
It was item 4 on the
It's
agenda,
item 4 on the agenda on the next
on the
page.
discussion. Right after STM.
Oh, I didn't print that page. Oh, I printed, no, actually I printed it probably got added to and I printed an older one. Okay.
Yeah, so I just give you a brief update on the IT position. They are going forward with the position. And they will charge us based on the current indirect policy. So
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They put in a room for their service up here at the new DPW offices. And I can't see them charging us for just an IT position for what? What's it gonna do?
Well, we have our own server here. We're not on the town server. We have our own server. So, I mean, there's a number of things, John.
Well, we're paying for that. We pay for our own server, okay. So what's he gonna do?
If I can finish my conversation,
All right, go ahead.
IT position currently, in FY '21, we are gonna be charged $63,231. In FY '22, it goes up to $90,768. And with the new software we are being installed and the IT help that we're gonna need with that, all of the new building stuff, the running of wires, the SCADA, I've spoken with both the division heads of wastewater and water. They see a real need with their phone systems, their SCADA systems, not the full SCADA, but all the preliminary stuff that leads up to bringing the SCADA consultant in could be done by an IT person. So, I mean, right now, it's a 51-49 split. Our enterprise funds will be charged through the indirect charges. So, no matter whether we agree with this IT position or not, the town's going forward with it.
Well, let him go forward. We're gonna vote it down anyhow.
John, if I might, I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and that would be, the question, first is a question to Tom. Do we know if they're actually putting the creation of the position before the town meeting?
They're funding it. They're going forward with this position prior to town meeting.
Okay, so they are basically using existing operating funds, or that's their plan, to finish this fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay, which means they must have had an increase in the budget line item for that at town meeting, for IT.
Right. that's
Okay, under
maybe-
personnel. And what I would propose is, number one is, when that does come up at town meeting, certainly this board can go question, and we get our shots and comments in. I'm presuming we will probably end up finding out that town meeting does support the article and the funding. But what I look at this as is an opportunity to actually kind of force a little bit of actual hourly documentation by an IT person working down here.
Correct.
Anytime he leaves the building and goes up to converse with John or Jay or support something that's going on elsewhere within the town besides us, that's a deduct from whatever he's being charged. The general fund side stays the same, but it should shift from a cost center from our budget to police, fire, or wherever else he ends up, town hall. To me, this is an opportunity, if it does go forward, to actually force some documentation out of IT department.
The policy that was accepted takes the payroll. A portion of it is the payroll.
Mhm.
So what they're gonna do is, so last year there was one individual that worked and it was John.
Yep.
And we paid $60,000. Then they added Jay McGillis.
Yep.
Now we're paying $90,000 for those salaries.
Mhm.
Now we're gonna add another person. It's probably gonna be another 30,000. So we're probably gonna be at least up to $120,000 for IT for the indirects.
And I see this as an opportunity to, and we can put it before town meeting, is that, that they should be documented. And if we get the audit article passed at STM, then it will be.
Right, but they don't document, he left the building for 15 minutes or he left the building for an hour. They take the payrolls and then they take a percentage. And I know that's gonna go back to the schools because you're gonna say time for the schools, but the policies that's in place takes that percentage for each of the enterprise accounts and breaks it out and comes up with those numbers.
Yeah, but we can request a tracking
Yeah.
to document that is in fact legitimate with the addition of new staff, a new physical location. Those are all reasons to do some documentation. They can say no,
That's it.
but at least we force the request on them and they have to respond and answer it on town meeting floor if necessary.
But if I can, we're going against what we've been arguing for the last 4 or 5 years. We have an opportunity to have controlled this position, and now we don't. All right, it's gonna be situated here. We were told before we even moved into this building that we should have a full-time IT person here because of what is required up here.
Does the school have a IT person?
They have 5 of them, John.
Yeah,
They have 5,
What an issue.
Yeah.
all right?
I believe the police have their own IT.
Yeah, the police have their own IT person.
well, we don't need.
We've been arguing for direct charges for a long time, and this is an opportunity to get those direct charges. We need this person, and going forward, we're only gonna be charged more through the enterprise
Well, how
fund.
do you know he's competent, for Christ's sake? How do you know this guy's competent? You're talking about new software.
When it first came to my attention, I was with Sean Patterson, and we met with Mike Moresco and Patrick. And during that discussion, actually, John Nash was in the meeting as well. And John had said that he's overburdened, that now that we're moving to 965, he's not gonna be able to be running back and forth. And at that point in time, it was presented to us as, hey, why don't you guys hire an IT guy? Yes, he'll report to John, but he'll be funded entirely by the DPW. And at that point in time, we would have had control of that position. Yes, he would have coordinated with John. He would have spoke with John on anything that he worked on, but it would have been broken up 25% with the general fund and each of the enterprise accounts. Then you didn't like the idea, and David brought up the idea of bringing in a contractor, and you guys discussed it. And as that process went on, now it gets back, and all of a sudden they go, yeah, we don't want to do that anymore. Now we want to do 5149. So now we're at the position where, okay, well, we'll pay our portion, and that's what it is. But you guys didn't
You
like it.
say you
Now,
pay.
John, hold on.
We
So
decide.
now, John, hold on. a
We
second.
decide.
So
Let
John,
let him finish.
you
John.
guys did decide, and that was the decision you made. But you don't decide for those folks at town hall. So now they've made their own decision to say, we don't care what you say, we're gonna create the position, and now we're gonna charge you through the indirects.
Yeah,
So here we are, that's where we're at, that's how we
Yeah.
get there.
yeah. Next time staff has a meeting like that, notify me. I'll attend the meeting.
You know, we'll make a difference.
But
That's our-
John,
that's our policy.
I thought that I myself was hired to represent the board. All right, I am not having that opportunity. All right, my thoughts, I was told that I could make a decision based on information that I gathered for this IT and what responsibilities that person would have.
That's
All right,
news to me.
All right, well, it's not news to me because that's what I was told. All right?
By who? Who told you that?
That opportunity to speak to anybody before a decision was made.
Yeah.
All right, so that takes my ability away from me to negotiate on behalf of the DPW. And then I would come back to the board and make a recommendation based on the information that I was able to gather. But I wasn't given that opportunity. So, you know, here we are, we've been arguing for direct charges for years. And here we are, an opportunity to do it. And we decide, no, we're not gonna do it now. So, I mean, one week we want it, the next week we don't. So we all have to be on the same page going forward.
You know what page we're on. And also, let me tell you, on these percentages, they don't use the school budget. So those percentages are doubled. So by the time we try to figure out, you know, how these expenses are figured and arrived at, those percentages are a fraud. They don't use the school budget. And you both know that. And we've been arguing that. And now they come along and say, oh, no, we're just going to add another IT guy and you're going to pay for it. All right, we'll discuss that when the time comes. As for Tom, you have the decision making, but also we have a policy. If a meeting is that important, it's also important to inform the board of that particular meeting so a board member might want to attend. That's all. We're not going to take away any of your thunder.
I mean, this also took place during a period of transition within the superintendent's position from Tom to Sean and then back to Tom again. And I think we got taken advantage of by the town administrator in that little bit of a void.
I don't think so. I'm sorry. That's my opinion.
Okay, well, that's your.
No, point of clarification, I'd like to say something.
Go right ahead.
that everything we do has to deal with IT nowadays. And that I'm not sure if the cat's out of the bag, and the DPW does need an IT person. It sounds like now we're gonna end up paying for the newborn person, plus we're gonna pay for all the old people too. The question I have is, what is the most efficient way of doing it? Bob, you're saying we should have the full-time person working for the DPW in the DPW office, and anyone else should have timesheets and charging back direct costs to that cost center, which is IT. I'm all for having some kind of tracking, and I believe, John, you would too. But we need to have some kind of control. It looks like we've lost control. And how do we get it back?
I agree. I agree. So let's figure out something on the ability to track this employee.
Wouldn't have to track him if he was under our control.
Tom, is there a way of getting them under our control and giving them an office space at the DPW that we do have control over?
They are willing, they're going forward with their plan right now, using the indirects. They said they would be open to discussing it for next year, falling under our control.
Starting July 1st?
No,
2022?
I would think it would be 2022.
Right, starting July 1st.
Right,
Fiscal year.
right.
That's only 2 or 3 months away.
No, I mean,
So why can't we do this? Can we go back and actually renegotiate this and come back with a better proposal?
We can try. I mean, they said they would be open going forward, but they're proceeding the way they just said to us, 5149. They are proceeding for the rest of this fiscal year because they know we need an IT person up here. And to try to split John up and Jay up between the whole town just doesn't work. Especially with the new software system that's going to be installed. We're really going to be at the IT's mercy.
If he's competent.
So the question I have is that if we're paying for John and Jay, if we have the DPW guy at us, will those costs go down for John and Jay?
I would think they would disappear if we had our own.
So the reality is that we're not going to be paying $140,000. We'll be paying something less, according to what Dan was saying.
If it was the original deal, when it first got brought up, if we were funding it 100%, then we could have charged them through the offsets if they used him at a different location. But now they're gonna have 51% control of that position, so they're gonna charge us for it. They're not only gonna charge us for salary, they're gonna charge for work that he does for us.
I mean,
We're gonna get screwed no matter what, so, you know,
well, I mean,
it is what it is.
I'm in favor of trying to get the control back to the DPW and to reduce the John and Jay costs. That's what my position is.
how would you try to go about that, Tom?
I mean, if we can eliminate John and Jay from our indirects and we're paying for a full-time position, I mean, we're gonna save $60,000.
Right, we're never gonna get rid of them altogether, because whoever, like, the ideal position would be, we get it, we funded 25% for the general fund and across the 3 enterprise accounts. He reports to John and did have to charge us an offset or the indirects for John's assistant and helping him put things in place.
Yeah, he's going to be supervised from a
Right.
technical standpoint by John,
But we'd lose the cost of
but from an
Jay.
administrative standpoint, he
Yeah.
would be under us.
He would be,
That would be the
that would
approach.
be the ideal way for us to do it.
Okay, and I mean, I don't know whether we can manage something like that as a point during the budget discussion in the ATM, but I think we could. And certainly we could put it forth as an article for the STM.
Right. No, I mean, in my conversation Friday. With them, they said that they are proceeding with the 5149 right now, because they know we need the position. But they were open to discussing going forward with us taking control of the position.
Okay, so So we have an opening, we should try to pursue that, and then we will actually have a good handle on how much IT support we actually truly need.
I have a comment on these costs for the new facility we're in. If we've had John Nash and the other gentleman running back and forth, that's all can come out of the monies for the infrastructure. It's not like the ratepayers are going to pay for that. That's money that should be tracked and reimbursed. We can charge that back to that 4 or 5 million that's left over. No comment?
Everything you charge against that takes away from the building.
It is part of the building.
Well, but what,
It is part of the building. What do you mean take away from the building? You're talking about an IT guy. Now you're telling me his cost takes away from the building.
Well, we're getting charged for the indirect, so we're paying for that. So now we're gonna track them twice and we're gonna take it out of the building costs. I don't understand. I don't understand. I can't follow.
I'm talking about.
You're trying to claim these costs in multiple ways.
No,
We
no.
pay for them through the indirects, Joe.
No. The cost of this IT guy right now coming up there to get everything going, to get this TV camera going, get everything going. That's all billable. That's all trackable and reimbursed from the monies that were allocated for this building. It's part of the infrastructure. It's not a separate item. That should be tracked.
Right, I mean, we're gonna pay for it through the indirects. So if you want us to fund it through the indirects out of the new building.
It can't be coming into the indirects if we get it paid for by the monies that are allocated for that building.
Let's take it out of the indirects. Now we're taking it away from the building money. So that's less money that goes into the building. And,
It is part of the building.
I mean, I
However
think,
you want.
I think,
Either way, we're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I told
one
you
is
we're gonna get-
operating versus one is capital.
but I mean, once the basic IT infrastructure is in place, and in the admin building here, I'd say what, 95%? Is that reasonable? Okay. I mean, we're actually back into the operating fund costs should go forward once the construction implementation is complete. And that is different than setting up a brand new system with a whole bunch of different new hardware. The new hardware is applicable to the capital funding for the building.
That's correct.
Once that equipment is in place, we're now in an operating situation. And
That's
the
correct.
operating situation is either we have our own IT person here taking care of it, or we have delays and lost motion while we wait for somebody to come down from town hall to take care of it. I'm in support of, I'd rather have the IT support here. And if we find it's excessive and it's in our control, we can adjust that in the budget as we go forward.
Okay, let's see if we can make that happen. Okay, everybody take a happy pill now. Superintendent's report. Go ahead, Tommy.
All right, thank you. I'll start off with Ocean Bluff. I had a conversation with Ron
Give us a-
at the end of last week. I had an email today from Dave Miller. So I'm waiting for GEI's response to the questions, and then I'll have a meeting with those two gentlemen. We're proceeding with the design application with GEI for the Ocean Bluff project. It's the grant, the dams and seawalls. Also seawall repair south of North Street to Charlie's. GEI is going forward with the application for construction of that section of seawall. If anyone has noticed the demolition of 35 Parsonage Street, the building is down and gone. The hoop canvas temporary building, we went out to bid. We've decided to scrap that. It was way too much money. It was roughly $600,000 for a temporary building that we think this winter is pretty much by us. I think we can survive. I am still in negotiations with Quirk Motor Group about their outbuilding. They're going to start moving cars into that facility within the next 2 weeks, from what I understand. So I still have the door open on a possibility of getting that outbuilding. DEP has approved the vent repairs at the landfill. I got notification on that today. The power issues with Eversource connecting our trailers. I was informed today again that they'll be here tomorrow. And I'll wait till tomorrow to believe that. But I am going to suggest through the Commissioner Carrier suggested perhaps that a letter to the Department of Public Utilities and to both our rep and state senator on the lack of response from Eversource might be needed if we don't see them here tomorrow. The town hall office hours apparently are going to be changing. They're going to be open on Mondays from 9 to 11 and 5 to 7. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe it's going to be 10 to 2. And then on Fridays, 9 to 11. They're asking that anyone that's working from home come back to the office starting Monday, the 22nd.
So is that a request to parallel the hours here the same way?
That would be the request to do that.
Tom, could you repeat that so I can write it down?
Mondays will be 9 to 11 and then 5 to 7 in the afternoon. Tuesday through Thursday will be 10 to 2 and Friday 9 to 11.
So town hall is open 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day.
That's it.
Okay.
And
Is it by
then,
appointment only?
no, it's open
That's walking.
for anyone to walk in.
Okay.
And then the joints,
Before you proceed, if I can ask this question, because I think it'll amplify, they're gonna still allow the prior arrangements where somebody can knock on the window, like at the collector's office, to make a payment, or?
I'm not
We don't-
sure, they
okay.
didn't mention that.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't mention anything about
They'll
that.
probably let that go. They'll probably still have that, Dave.
Yeah, I think for the permits and
I
stuff.
think, yeah,
I would think that would continue, but,
Yeah, who knows?
Yep.
You know,
The joint hearing selectmen advisory board is March 30th. And capital planning is next Tuesday night at 7 PM.
they're all Zoom, Tom.
They're all Zoom, yes. I think that, I haven't heard about advisory, but the joint meeting, but I most imagine we'll still be in this COVID protocol.
Oh, I
I'm
think
gonna
so,
say-
yeah.
Gonna say
Yeah.
it's gonna be Zoom.
well, there is an individual, the non-joint meeting for the advisory board is also, I believe, next week, as is capital budget, I think, both.
Yeah, well, next
They have their routine meetings to review.
next Thursday is advisory.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
and we met today with a subcommittee from advisory. Dan and I met with Dawn, Sherry and Paul.
Yep.
Paul is the new member.
Paul.
Castellano.
Christopher.
Christopher.
Paul Christopher.
Paul Christopher, yes.
Okay,
And that's it for me.
okay. Any questions, Dave or Bob?
I'm all set, thank you.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, that will do it for this meeting. Next meeting is March 8th, 2021. I'm going to call for a vote to adjourn.
I second.
It's a roll call vote. Mr. Cusick,
Aye.
Mr. Carrier,
Aye.
Mr. Shaughnessy,
Hi.
unanimous.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Be safe.
Good night, all.
Good night.
See you, Anne Marie.